Many U.S. cities allocate millions in taxpayer dollars to micromobility voucher programs. Austin, Texas, for example, issues rebates up to $1,300 per resident to purchase electric bicycles. This structure functions entirely as a non-recoverable capital expense. Current voucher programs subsidize the intent to commute. Once the city issues the rebate, it has no verifiable evidence that the hardware is used for sustained transit. This creates a financial dead end. Public capital leaves the Treasury, while zero compliance data or recurring economic value returns to the municipality. Preserving municipal capital requires treating micromobility as performance-based infrastructure rather than a subsidized consumer good. In Austin, shifting to a performance-based model for a cohort of 3,440 participants changes the ledger. The upfront capital outlay falls to zero. By generating verified emissions data, the city realizes a net fiscal improvement of over $2.19 million. To protect the public balance sheet, cities must move beyond purchasing hardware and begin engineering systems that monetize verified mobility behavior. Self-reported wellness surveys and consumer health apps are statistically unreliable for institutional finance. A user's claim that they cycle to work cannot withstand the scrutiny of a municipal compliance report or an insurance audit. Verified activity data, or VAD, provides the necessary institutional standard. It is empirical, machine-generated telemetry that cryptographically proves a physical event occurred. The stakes are purely financial. To monetize a commute for carbon avoidance credits or healthcare reserves, the data must be robust enough to satisfy a formal actuarial audit. Once VAD is activated, the bicycle functions as an edge computing node. It generates a defensible financial asset through every verified session. Without cryptographic verification, activity data is marketing. With it, biological effort becomes a multi-layered financial instrument. Reaching this audit-grade status requires a specific technical framework. The VIDAT system, protected by U.S. Patent 11,998,801, provides that architecture. The engineering goal is strict. The system must bind a specific human identity to a specific vehicle for a specific trip, independent of user honesty. The VIDAT process uses a multi-factor verification, or MFV, sequence. Step 1 is the financial sync. Tapping an NFC-enabled credit union card to a smartphone anchors the commute session to a regulated financial identity. Step 2 is the vehicle check. An NFC or QR scan of the bicycle frame tag confirms the registered vehicle is in use, neutralizing account sharing fraud. Step 3 adds the safety check. A helmet NFC tap creates a verifiable safety compliance record, providing data for downstream actuarial risk models. Step 4 is the destination node. Tapping a verified destination pedestal at an employer site confirms the session ended at a sanctioned location, elevating the data to full credibility status. This MFV sequence mathematically eliminates faked commutes, converting biological effort into a cryptographically secure asset. Between the start and end check-ins, continuous passive telemetry runs in the background. The first layer of passive data relies on raw GPS trajectories, mapping the route, distance, and elapsed time bounds with sub-second resolution. The second layer monitors the session using a 3-axis accelerometer. This motion signature distinguishes active biological cycling cadence from passive transit. This prevents a user from carrying their device onto a bus and claiming the miles as a commute. The system brackets the passive telemetry and check-ins, hashing them into a tamper-evident log. This seals the entire session into an immutable block of code. This data lineage aligns with W3C provenance standards. It allows an independent auditor to re-perform every check from the raw sensor signals to the final output. This continuous, tamper-evident logging is the mechanism that separates a consumer health app from a defensible institutional compliance record. Tying human behavior to financial identities introduces significant regulatory risk regarding data rights and privacy. The VIDAT architecture manages this through a strict control principle, hard domain separation. This architectural diagram shows how the data is firewalled. Verified activity data operates strictly as an operational evidence domain. It is completely isolated from any credit underwriting, pricing, or adverse action processes. This separation ensures compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It protects the institution from the liabilities associated with consumer surveillance and credit scoring. Hard domain separation allows institutions to capture the economic value of behavioral data without triggering the risks of consumer adjudication. Once the data is secured and legally firewalled, it can be deployed across institutional balance sheets to generate yield. For credit unions, this powers the slingshot stream. Verified commuting provides a positive, non-FCRA signal for member acquisition. Acquisition costs drop because participation is driven by behavior rather than marketing. For a standard cohort, this produces over $1.37 million in avoided customer acquisition costs. For self-insured employers, the HRAAS stream, Healthcare Reserve Release as a Service, relies on 24 to 36 months of credible VAD. This actuarially validated data provides a basis for the release of healthcare reserves, projected at $340 per active rider annually. For municipalities, the BCCAC stream uses mode substitution to produce auditable Scope 3 Category 7 emissions reports. Aligning with formal GHG protocols converts previously uncounted bicycle trips into monetizable carbon avoidance credits. A single commute, when cryptographically verified, simultaneously supports public infrastructure, acquires banking members, and optimizes corporate insurance reserves. The final stakeholders are the original equipment manufacturers producing the bicycles and sensors. Because the verified data is now valuable to financial institutions, the hardware licensing model flips. The VIDAT platform pays OEMs a recurring monthly fee per active device, known as a reverse royalty, simply for providing raw API telemetry. Manufacturers generate this recurring revenue without any incremental marketing or support costs. This deployment is a financial architecture selection. By replacing the public subsidy of intent with cryptographic monetization of verified action, the bicycle generates institutional capital.